If you're watching this video, that means the 1.21 Tricky Trials update has just been released, and this is everything you need to know about the upcoming update. Now obviously there's about a million new items I could be talking about right now, but first we're going to go over the most relevant ones. The first thing you need to know is that whenever you find a pillager outpost inside of your world, killing the banner pillagers will no longer give you bad omen. Instead, they're going to drop an ominous bottle, which you can then drink to get the bad omen effect. But don't worry, because this change wasn't only added to put raid farms into the ground, it was also added to make trial chambers more interesting. By now you've probably heard a million different things about the trial chambers in Minecraft, but this is definitely the most important piece of information you're gonna hear. Trial chambers should have a chance to spawn with this specific structure, and as you can see from the front, this requires a very specific kind of key. Rather than your normal key that has one head on it, you need the ominous key that has 3. To get these keys, you have to drink an ominous bottle and then start some battles inside of the trial chamber. If I go into survival mode here, you'll see that the battle omen becomes trial omen and all of the spawners become blue. Going back into creative to make things a lot easier, but you'll see whenever I defeat this that we'll get some very different drops than normal. The first drop you'll see about everywhere though is of course the breeze rod, which you get from killing the breeze. These can of course be crafted into wind charges, which everybody knows about at this point, but they can also be used to make the mace. This one was pretty useless. We got 2 golden carrots, but eventually doing these you'll get some ominous trial keys, and then you can open the ominous trial chest, vault, whatever you want to call it. We already got a super rare drop, which is actually insanely lucky, but we got the flow armor trim. Out of these drops, the most important are the 22.5% chance for a god apple, the smithing template named flow, the smithing template named bolt, the new music disc, and the heavy core. The other 2 music discs, however, named creator, music box, and precipice, can all be found in the regular trial spawners, vaults, and chests. All of these items are pretty cool, but of course you're here for the overpowered weapon, the mace. Using just 1 breeze rod and 1 heavy core from these spawners, you can make the overpowered weapon, known as the mace. Some of you might not know this, but the mace was actually recently nerfed. It used to have the exact same stats as the diamond sword, dealing 7 attack damage and 1.6 attack speed, along with the fact that you could deal more damage the more you fell. However, it has been nerfed down to 6 attack damage and 0.6 attack speed. Of course, there are the new enchantments such as Wind Burst, Breach, and Density, but you should know that Density and Breach cannot be on the same mace. Along with that, you can add your normal enchantments such as Mending or Unbreaking 3. Using the new Bogged Mob that shoots and drops poisoned arrows compared to normal skeleton, I will show you, of course, how Wind Burst works. As we all know, you have to do a falling attack and it has to be a critical hit. If you run up to a mob and hit it normally, the effect does not happen. Density increases the damage that the mace does by half a point of damage per block fallen, and Breach reduces the effectiveness of the target's armor by 15% per level. Both of these are extremely broken. Like I said, you cannot have both Density and Breach on one mace, but if you want my 2 cents, you should always be using Breach in multiplayer and be using Density in single player. Reducing armor effectiveness by a maximum of 60% is extremely broken, especially in a game where armor is extremely hard to counter, and just so much more damage. It's ridiculous. Getting into a little bit more of the update you probably don't know about, did you know that these blocks around the trial spawner actually tell you what mob will spawn? For example, right here we have 4 packed ice and 4 chiseled copper, which actually means that this is going to spawn strays. Now, of course, this doesn't really matter because you can just look inside of the spawner itself, but it's some really cool attention to detail that Mojang put into this, because there's a lot of mobs that could spawn. For example, this one is going to spawn breezes because it has the 4 chiseled tough. This is one that could actually come in handy because this one's going to spawn regular zombies. As you can see, there's 4 mossy cobblestone. However, if you find one of these that has 2 regular cobblestone looking a little bit like this, that means it's actually going to spawn exclusively baby zombies. I think that's pretty cool. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for easily the most devastating and worst part of the 1.21 update. As I'm going to show you right now by turning up my sounds all the way, they changed the cobweb sound effect. Now, I know people are going to say, it sounds more realistic, more like an actual cobweb compared to just placing a stone block. But like, this is like scraping your fingers against a chalkboard bad. It's squeaky. Why are the cobwebs squeaky? Back to the jungle, you can use this command in the game to summon a wolf with a specific variant. For example, here is the original wolf, also known as the pale wolf. And by typing in any specific type of wolf, you get that variant. So here's the snowy one. Here is the chestnut wolf, the black wolf, the rusty wolf, the spotted wolf, the striped wolf, and the woods wolf. Now I'm going to type in pale, but if you put in basically any value into here, it will just give you the original pale wolf. and using this wolf, I'm going to very quickly tame it to show off the new wolf armor. As you all probably know, this wolf armor is extremely broken. You get an armadillo, you brush the top of it, and it gives you some scutes, which you can use to craft the armor. Get out of here. To take off wolf armor, you just use a pair of shears, and you actually get an achievement for that, but then you can put on any other wolf armor you like. As you can read here, the wolf armor gives plus 11 armor to your wolf, and it's pretty broken. As you can see, the wolf is completely fine, though the armor has just broken, and the moment that the armor breaks, the wolf is extremely vulnerable once again. But again, once you have the armor, it takes about 7 crits from a diamond sword to break it, and then once it breaks, the wolf is back to being normal. A really funny strategy, if you're ever fighting these in multiplayer, is to just get some shears and just take it off. I'm not entirely sure if you can actually just take off the armor of your friend's wolf, but I think it'd be very, very funny if you could. Who's a good boy? I've actually had to go to a plains biome for this next part because in one of my more recent videos, we talked about the new potion effects that you might not actually know about. The potion of weaving, which makes it whenever you kill a mob that has the effect, it will drop cobwebs. From my testing, this is anywhere between 0 and 2, and of course you can harvest them for any string. Some good farm opportunities there. You have the potion of oozing, which makes it that whenever you kill a mob that has that effect, it will drop 2 medium-sized slimes specifically. And of course, these just turn into 4 regular slimes and then drop slime balls as normal. This next one is my personal favorite, the potion of wind charging, which, as you may know, makes whenever you kill a mob, it does that. And that can be pretty abused. I'm going to go over this next one pretty quickly because we did it in a more recent video, but if you get a pit full of chickens and then drop the potion of wind charging on top of them and kill them all at the same time, you get thrown super high into the air. That was like 12 chickens, and we're already hundreds of blocks up. Oh my goodness. But that's probably my favorite potion of them all. But for the next one, we're also going to need the chickens because the potion infestation is really bad. It is a small chance to spawn silverfish whenever you kill a mob. We actually got it, it would seem. 1 silverfish, and it's gone. Of course, there's stone there. But it's like a 5% chance whenever you kill the mob to drop a silverfish. The particles on these potions are actually like really cool, as you can see, but I'm going to clear them for the viewing experience. The potion of infestation is pretty bad. It's a very small chance for a silverfish, which isn't the most useful mob, but it's still pretty cool. As a quick intermission, we're going to talk about the new blocks. You have the copper chiseled, the grate, the door, the trapdoor, and the bulb. All of these obviously have their waxed and oxidized versions, but these are all really cool cosmetic blocks, as you know. The bulb actually can be turned on, and then it stays on even though it has no power source, which is really cool. You can turn it back off by adding a power source, and it will just stay on so long as you leave it there. It's pretty cool. Next up, we have all of the new tuff blocks, which are all amazing blocks. You have the chiseled tuff, the smooth tuff, and the brick tuff, all of which are extremely cool block variants. And then, of course, you have the new pod variants, Guster and Flow, which, of course, can be found in the trial chambers. And then, the item that I think is most forgotten about this update is the crafter. Not called an auto crafter, just called a crafter, but as you know, you can edit these slots and have hoppers put items into it to craft whatever you like automatically so long as it has that redstone signal. For example, if I wanted to craft iron blocks, I could place a hopper full of iron in the back, put in a redstone signal, and then flip that switch, and whenever the materials fill up and the redstone is activated, it will make that item. Of course, it cannot distinguish the items that you're trying to make, so if I continue flicking this, it'll make some iron bars. You have to be very careful using these. I'm not a redstone expert. You can also lock slots if you wish to, so for example, if I wanted specifically iron doors, I could lock these 3 slots right here, which having a little bit of trouble. Come on, no. There, I got it. But yeah, I can lock these slots, and it will make iron doors now forever and ever until it runs out of iron. And how could I forget the 2 most important parts of this update, the new banner patterns, Guster and Flow. The Guster pattern comes from any vault and reward chests, and oddly enough, the Flow one specifically comes from ominous vaults. That's a little bit weird. Now for this next part, I've made this giant wall right here because we have to go over every single new painting in the game. I have actually had to increase the size of this wall because of just how many paintings they have decided to add in the new update. In total, there's 20 of them. And as you can see, a lot of them are 4x4, 2x4, 2x2s, they're all pretty cool. When Mojang first announced these, people were like, oh, it's so easy to make these paintings. These look awful, because originally they only announced like 5 of them, and then they added 15 more, and in my opinion, these are all gorgeous paintings. Like, wow. This one's a little bit weird. Is that like hanging a golden apple? I'm really not sure. That one's pretty cool in my opinion. I think everyone will like this painting. That's a classic. Anyways, enough looking at paintings, but these are all really, really cool. I'm also kind of silly. I forgot about this new type of pottery sherd named Scrape, which you can also find inside of Trial Chambers. I only thought there was Flow and Guster because those were the 2 banners, but I guess not. Now, as you know, there are the trial chambers in the game. We already went over these. However, there is actually a way to find one without going to search on your own, because if you level up a cartographer, eventually he will let you buy a trial explorer map, which will take you directly to the nearest trial chamber, which actually is right here. This is about world spawn. Like, these things are pretty easy to find. And according to the map, it is directly underneath me, which, as we can go and see, it is directly underneath me. That's really close. These things are not hard to come across. Back to the topic of sound effects, I know exactly what you're thinking. Oh, they changed the piston sound effect. Is that next? Well, wrong, because they actually didn't. Originally, they had changed it to this disgusting sound. And then Mojang heard the player's feedback and changed it back. All they did was make it slightly quieter to adjust it, because the whole problem was the volume problem, but they ended up changing it back to the original, which is really cool. And just so people aren't skeptical that I'm lying to them, here's the sticky piston. Same thing. A lot of people didn't know that they actually changed the sound back, and I think more people need to appreciate it, because Mojang did listen to our feedback. As you can see here, I've just given myself every single new advancement in Minecraft 1.21. That's a lot of loud sounds. Overall, there are 8 new advancements, all of which are inside of the Trials section, I guess. If you type in this command, it'll give you all of the new ones. And looking here, you have Crafters, Be Near a Crafter when it crafts a crafter. You have Minecraft Trials Edition, Step Foot into a Trial Chamber. Under Lock and Key, unlock a vault with a trial key. Revolting, unlock an ominous vault with an ominous trial key. Probably my favorite advancement in all of these is Overkill, because it's actually a reference to both the older versions of Minecraft and now Bedrock Edition, where an achievement called Overkill was given to you whenever you dealt over 9 hearts of damage in a single hit to any mob. Of course, this one's 50 because the mace is extremely broken, and Mojang is very aware of this. There's Lighten Up, which is scraping a copper bulb with an axe to make it brighter. Blowback, which is a crazy name for a Minecraft achievement. If you know, you know. But it's given to you whenever you kill a breeze with a deflected breeze shot wind charge. And Who Needs Rockets, which is whenever you use a wind charge to launch yourself upwards 8 blocks. All of these are very simple and very cool advancements, except for Overkill. It is my favorite one because of the reference, but Mojang definitely knows the mace is broken, and based on that advancement, I don't think they're gonna nerf it, which kinda sucks. Psst, hey, it's me, iFoxstar from the beginning of the video. Listen, apparently if you've watched halfway through the video, you really need to subscribe. Like now, because that means you probably like the video. Anyways, I gotta go now. See ya. Yippee! Now, you might not know this, but Minecraft actually has a rarity system. As you can see here, the barrier block, only obtainable through commands. The Ender Dragon Egg, given to you after beating the game of Minecraft, and the Mace, the most powerful weapon in the game, are all the epic rarity. These are considered the hardest to obtain items, or even creative mode exclusives. But out of all of these items, Mojang decided that 2 of them need to be changed. The first one is the Snout banner pattern. It's a uncommon item now. Most banner patterns are this or above, so you know, that makes sense. However, there is one of these that makes absolutely no sense. The epic rarity is only for the highest of the high items. Debug sticks, barrier blocks, command blocks, basically everything from creative mode, everything from op, and then enchanted golden apples, of course. Like we said earlier, the dragon egg and the mace. And out of all of these amazingly hard to obtain items that you have to play the game for either hours to get or are completely unobtainable in any vanilla survival playthrough, Mojang decided to add one more item to the epic rarity, tridents. In my opinion, this is one of the dumbest things of this update. The trident is not an epic rarity item. I would understand if it's rare, because it is, of course, a lower chance item to get. It is affected by looting, however, which should make it more on the uncommon side. But for some reason, Mojang has decided that this trident is comparable to command blocks, debug sticks, and barrier blocks. That makes absolutely no sense to me. But now you know about the rarities of different items in Minecraft, which is pretty cool in itself. Here are a couple more minor things that are being added to the game. For example, witches now drop 4 to 8 redstone on kill. That one actually gave me the maximum drop. As you can see, it's not that rare, and for some reason, they decided to do this because they felt like witches really needed to drop redstone, because, you know, mining redstone with a Fortune 3 pickaxe isn't easy enough. I mean, we've gotten 16 from 2 witches, so maybe some redstone farms are in order, but still, it isn't that great. In Minecraft, you can now put leads on boats and pull them around. This is an amazing change. Life could be a dream. Apparently, end crystals are immune to fire damage, but I cannot put lava on it. Like, I guess, is that what it means? Oh, you can't even place the end crystal on top of the fire? But apparently they are, so I guess don't worry about your end crystals blowing up because of a wildfire? Probably one of the coolest changes in all of Minecraft history has actually happened, where now, if I do this, I get teleported into the nether. Now let's say I want to get my buddy, we'll call him Daniel the Piglin Brute. Let's say we want to get him to the overworld. What we can actually do is just boat directly into the portal, and it instantaneously takes us through. Looking a little cold there, Daniel. I've actually gotten his brother Stuart, so I can show this off in survival mode. You can go through, it instantly takes you through. Now, of course, if you're in survival mode and you walk through the portal, you have to go through the animation, which they have also changed to fade out, which looks just that little bit better. But as you can see, if you try and do that, you go through normally, and if you have a boat, you go through instantly. And as I showed you before, you can pearl through it. So if we do this, it will take us in that same angle and same going out. That is so cool. Along with this, apparently TNT that has primed going through another portal no longer breaks the portal. So it's gone through the portal, and it shouldn't break the portal now. That's pretty cool. That definitely could make for some cool mob farms. But overall, nether portals are really, really cool. They have some awesome changes added. You can pearl through them. You can boat through them. It's so cool. Next on the list, however, we're going to have to go to the last dimension. Because usually whenever you go into the end, of course, you have this platform, the notorious end platform, that is most well known for deleting basically any item that's on top of it whenever it gets reloaded. But let's say I accidentally leave my entire shulker box full of diamonds on this platform and go beat the game. That was pretty easy. Now if we go through the portal, of course, we'll get the usual end credits, but now with this like glowy end portal background, which is way cooler than the original dirt background in my opinion. But now if we go back through our end portal, and remember we left that shulker full of diamonds there, rather than just destroy any items that are there, it now simply drops all blocks that were placed here. As you can see, my shulker box is completely fine. Let's say I forgot that I was trying to build my Enderman farm and left all of my wood here. Well, now whenever we go through the portal, all of our wood drops on the ground, except for the few that fell into the void, but you get the idea. They've basically fixed just deleting items from existence, which is like really nice. Everybody knows about the advancement, how did we get here, and of course all of the new effects now apply to that advancement. However, there is the A Furious Cocktail achievement, which now has to be granted not only by getting every potion in the game, but also getting the new potions of Weaving, Wind Charging, Oozing, and Infestation, which is right here. So now if we go on into survival mode and we splash all of these potions, we should hopefully be given a Furious Cocktail. You can't actually see me because I'm invisible, but as you can see, we got it. You now need all of those new potions for a Furious Cocktail, and of course, you need them all for How Did We Get Here? Okay, this is like really weird because you just cannot see me while I'm talking, so I'm gonna clear that. Fun fact, did you know that knockback in the game has been completely reworked? I've given myself resistance so I don't die, but as I will now show you, in the original versions of Minecraft, your knockback was dependent on the person or thing attacking you. For example, if I'm standing here, and my friend, we're going to go ahead and give myself an armor stand. My friend is right here. If my friend attacks me, I'm going to be pushed opposite of where they're standing. Now let's say my friend conveniently shot his arrow right here and I am directly below it. If we do this, the pig gets shot in the direction the arrow is facing. That makes sense. But in the original versions of Minecraft, that actually wouldn't happen. If I shot the arrow right here, for example, and I, myself, the person shooting the arrow, was facing this way, but the animal or player directly underneath it, that didn't work at all. What would originally happen is the person or animal beneath it would actually get pushed in the direction that I, the person who shot the arrow, was facing. For example, if I'm facing this way, the animal that gets hit by this arrow would normally go that way, even though the arrow is facing this way. However, in the newer versions, that's not the case. Items such as splash potions also used to work like this. If I ran the opposite direction, the animal would get pushed in the direction I was facing, rather than where the potion came from. But now, all potions and fireworks shoot them in the opposite direction of where the potion landed. Because of course this is like a splash effect going outwards, so they get pushed outwards. The arrow would be pushing inwards towards them, so they would get pushed the same direction. But that is basically how it worked. Let's go ahead and remove the evidence. And that is about everything that they have added that you need to know about Minecraft 1.20.1. This update has a lot more to it than what I showed you today. A lot of it though is technical stuff, commands and data values, things like that, and I don't want to explain all of those. There's about a bajillion of them. I'm not even kidding. This is probably one of the most heavily packed updates for data like this in the game. Mojang has almost completely reworked all of these features. I'll show some of them on screen very briefly right now, but you should go read through all these yourself if you're interested, because they're all really cool and have some unique mechanics to them. But of course, if you're just a casual player looking to have some fun and want to know the brand new features of Minecraft 1.21, this is everything you needed to know. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.